question, the member from Oshawa.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. Earlier this week, I was disappointed when the Minister refused to commit to ending the unfair limits to auto workers' leave days. Again, I say this isn't right and it isn't fair. Auto workers deserve the same employment standards and rights as every other worker in this province. I have since learned that not only are cleaners in auto plants finding their job titles redesignated as auto workers so that their leave days can be clawed back, but there have also been employers across this province who have taken their cue from the government and have issued notices that they will now only allow 7 personal emergency leave days. These are employers who had previously been giving their workers 10 days. Speaker, Ontarians deserve security in the workplace. We should not be competing in a race to the bottom. And once again I ask, will you commit to immediately ending this unfair exemption for auto workers?
Question. Thank you, Premier. Minister of Labour.
Thank you, Speaker. That question. Speaker, January the 1st of 2017, we went out, we talked to the industry stakeholders, we talked to others that were engaged in auto, organized labour, Speaker, business, anybody that was involved in the auto sector in the province of Ontario, which is very healthy, which is very competitive, Speaker, and has received tremendous support from this government and from time to time other members of the House. What we put in place, Speaker, was a pilot project. We wanted to look at the auto sector, and we wanted to examine if there was a different way of providing personal emergency leave that made sense and took into account the competitive nature and other unique parts of the auto sector, Speaker. Speaker, we've been out there for about a year with the pilot sector, with the pilot project. We continue to talk to those that are involved in this issue, Speaker. It is a pilot project, and you have my commitment that when we examine it, we're going to do a very thorough examination, Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. And calling something a pilot project isn't enough to smooth over the fact it's still discriminatory. And again to the Premier, if you won't do the right thing, then I will. This afternoon I am going to be joined by members of Unifor, and I will table my private member's bill, the Fairness for Auto Workers Sector Act. My bill will do what both the Liberals and Conservatives voted against during committee for Bill 148. It will ensure that every worker in Ontario will have access to the same minimum number of leave days without exception. Speaker, my bill will close the loophole that the Liberals have created. Premier, I've done the heavy lifting of drafting the bill, and will you do the right thing and ensure that my bill, the Fairness for the Auto Sector Act, becomes law before this session ends?
Thank you. Minister.
Speaker, thank you for the supplementary. Speaker, just last week, the Minister of Transportation and I met with Jerry Dias from Unifor, Speaker. We met with a number of unionized members of the auto sector, and we met with the non-unionized auto workers on this issue, Speaker. I believe we're all on the same page right now, Speaker, now is the time to evaluate the efficacy of the pilot project, to see if it works, Speaker, to see if it needs to be changed. So I'm proud to be able to...
The member from Windsor West is warned. Finish, please.
Speaker, I'm proud to announce today that we've appointed Buzz Hargrove, former leader of the CAW, and Stacey Allerton, the former Vice President of Human Resources at Ford Motor Company, former Director of Human Resources for Ford in the United States, Speaker. But I find it passing strange when Bill 148 was moving through the House, not a